case and the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. Where are you watching me from? Thank you for joining me this evening. Like, subscribe. Where are you watching? Thank you for joining. Join the broadcast. Very important. Please indicate where you are watching me from, and I welcome you. I will welcome you from navigation. This is a live broadcast, and we will not waste our time. I want to appreciate our people who are watching from the home. Our people who are respecting the sit-at-home order. We will continue to sit at home. We will continue to delegitimize the terrorist Nigerian state. We will continue to demonstrate how much we love Nnamdi Kanu by sitting at home for him. That sit at home is hitting the Nigerian government very, very hard, and they are losing millions, thousands, if not millions of dollars. And the sit at home will not stop until Nnamdi Kanu is released and until Biafra is fully free from Nigerian occupation. Biafra has its autonomy. Yes, until Biafra land is free from the terrorist Nigerian state. Until the occupiers of our land leave our land, we will continue to take actions that will delegitimize them in our territory, in our land. We will continue let them understand that we are no longer part of Nigeria. We are no longer part of Nigeria, and we can never be part of Nigeria anymore. Nigeria died. Immediately Biafra was under occupation. That was when Nigeria died. There is no Biafran that is comfortable with Nigeria. Any Biafran that is speaking about one Nigeria is either the person is eating the corruption money in Nigeria, or the person is expecting something from the political leaders in Nigeria, or the person has something that he is benefiting. Outside that, 99.9% of Biafrans are ready to exit Nigeria, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. Please, where are you watching me from? I want to appreciate your presence. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, today is yet another day. Our Prime Minister, Biafra, had a court case in the European court. In Finland, Biafra will be appearing in Finnish court, which is also European court because that is from Europe. All the Scandinavian countries are aware of the plight of Biafrans. The European Union are aware of Biafrans. So today when Biafra appears in the court, they will be more educated about what we are undergoing, what we are passing through in that contraction called Nigeria. our acting Prime Minister said yesterday while he was in the meeting. Okay? Our acting Prime Minister was asking a question. If the world could not speak about what is happening in Biafra land, not that they don't know about what is happening in our land, but they deliberately decided not to talk about it. Did not the world come out in the open and tell us that actually they are supporting the annihilation of indigenous people in Nigeria? Yes, it is better they make it open, because just yesterday and 2 days ago, Israel and Iran are squaring up. They have started their fight. Within the 24 hours of them exchanging, or even only them exchanging words, all the international news media are carrying it. All the news media of the world are talking about Israel and Iran, talking about casualties, talking about soft targets, talking about civilians, and all the rest of it. But when it comes to Biafra or Africa, the world that was supposed to talk about the same issue that they are talking about here, all of them will keep quiet. Does it mean that the world is complicit? Does it mean that the world actually supporting what is happening in Biafra land? And if you look at that question from our acting Prime Minister, there is truth in what he was saying, because the social media is here. Nobody will say, oh, you didn't get any letter. If you didn't get any information about the killings of Biafran territory, you are in X, you are in Facebook. The world leaders, they have Facebook handles, they have X handles, and information about Biafra have been Twitter, which one of them. Yet they pretend they don't know, they pretend they have so it's imperative that they know about what is going through, but they are either complicit or they are supporting the Nigerian government against people. Something applies to what is happening in Bazoum, the English and the Kenyan genocide that is happening. Genocide. Nigerian forces quiet because our lives matter to them. Our lives do not matter to them. We are very much irrelevant. We are not in their programs. We are not in their priorities. So how can these people who are telling us about human rights come now and they come and tell us about human rights, whereas our lives, our rights do not matter to them? And the reason why we're saying it is because, there is a recognized world order, whereby they create all this group, UN, EU, African Union, ICC, and the reason why they created all this group, according to them, was to checkmate the excesses of some government, leaders of their people, like presidents, like some countries. That is the reason why they created all this group. They told you that the United Nations will always come to the aid of people who are under persecution. They told you that European Union will always, listen to the yearnings of the people. In paper, this is what they have, they used to deceive people, because it is always in paper. Oh, they tell you this is where it is written. They quote the charter, they quote this and that. But when it comes to Africa, all those laws that they made for the benefit of the masses in Africa, those laws does not apply. Their lives, they value their lives more than the life of Africans. They take care of their people more than the people in Africa. They talk about the conditions of their people more than the conditions of our people in Africa. And that is why we need to reevaluate. Africans need to come together and think about their continued stay in this European Union, in this world order of 18, because it is not beneficial to the African nation. It is not beneficial to us. So why are we going to continue to be with all these people who no longer value us, who don't value us at all? So when it comes to Nigeria, when it comes to killings of indigenous people in Africa, it doesn't matter to the world leaders. It doesn't move them. The Americans are not moved. The life of Biafrans in Nigeria do not matter to them. What matters to them is what they take out from Biafra land. What matters to them is what they can gain from our land. Every other thing does not matter. The life of the Biafran people, the life of the African people do not matter to them. So, what is the essence of belonging to the union that do not appreciate your existence? Or they do not even regard your existence. They only consider their people. They only regard their people. They only respect their people. But to them, our lives do not matter. So that is why Africans, we have to wake up, stand our ground, and make sure that we redefine how Africa should live. But unfortunately, the bad news is that Africans are being controlled. Leaders in Africa are being controlled by these same people who don't want our existence. Yes, the African leaders are being elected by all these same people. So the people that they are electing into leadership in Africa are the people who will always promote their policies, the people who will always stand with them. That is why you have puppets in Africa. Most of them have stayed years and years in office. Most of them make themselves life president. Even when they are incapacitated, you still see them in offices because the leaders, because the West are using them as puppets. They are using them to run their countries. They are using them to hold their countries down because of the pacts, the agreement they have with certain leaders. For example, the president of Cote d'Ivoire, the president of Cameroon, Biya, and all the rest of them. These people have stayed in office too long enough, and they continue to be supported by the West because they are playing the script of the West. And that is why this generation of Africans, we will not accept such humiliations and intimidation that we have passed through in the hands of all these African leaders for a very long time. And that is why we are asking for a free nation where we can be able to, take care of ourselves, where we can be able to govern ourselves. This is very, very important. Oh, thank you so much, Sussex Epa. Thank you for joining me. Please like and share and welcome others as well. Yeah, this morning, let us be refreshed. Let us refresh our mind that today is sit at home in Biafra land. Please, if anybody is watching us from Biafran land, the land of our ancestors, you can give us feedback. You can tell us what is happening in the comment section. Which part of the Biafran territory are you watching me from? Please tell us one or two information that is happening. Very, very important. James, thank you for joining me, and good morning from here as well. Good morning from here. Thank you for joining me. So anybody that is watching from the homeland, what is happening in Igodo? What is happening in Okigwe? What is happening in Okigwe? Tell us what is happening in Okigwe. If you are from Okigwe, any part of Biafran territory that you are watching me from, please tell me, tell us. I hope the people are still sitting at home. Of course, Biafra land today, being Monday, is under lockdown. Under lockdown because we continue to respect our leader, DavidNnannah BTV. Today is his day. So, yeah, like and share. As you come in, like, share. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please try and do so. It's very important. Yeah, today, our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekwanjoko, will also be representing Biafra in the European Court. So today is yet another court date. And we expect nothing short than victory. Biafra is our mission. Biafra is our destination. And there is nothing any bagger, anybody can do to stop Biafra from coming. Biafra must be restored, and in our own time. If you have not seen the signs, we have seen the signs of Biafra. And if you are not part of this movement for Biafran restoration, you are missing a lot, because your children someday will ask you a question. When Biafra will be written, when Biafra will be history, when the history of Biafra will be written, and the students in Biafran schools will be reading it, just like you read Things Fall Apart, just like you read every other history, your child or your children, if you be alive, and then your children may have an opportunity to call you as a father and ask you to explain what you know about this Biafra restoration. So if you are not part of what we are doing, what will be your response to your children? If you didn't join hands to fight for this freedom to come, what will be the response that you will give to your son, to your daughter, or to your children when they ask you such questions? So if you have not joined the Biafran freedom, you have to join it now, so that when Biafra is fully restored, your name will be written in gold. You will be among those that will be, written about. People will talk about you. The history of Biafra, your name will be mentioned. And when those who participated in supporting Biafran freedom, when their names are being written in gold, in the archives, in the libraries, your name will be there. And your children will be very, very happy that their parents, their father or mother, joined hands to make them free, to fight for their freedom. But if your name is not there, your children will be very, very angry. They will be annoyed that, in fact, they will regard you as a sabo. Yes, because they will see that others were fighting for their freedom, and those who fought for their freedom, their names are written in somewhere in the Biafran museum or archive, But your own name is not there, which means that you were not part of those who were fighting for them. And if will be a shameful thing when you confront your children and they ask you such questions and you don't have any tangible reason to give them for not supporting their freedom. Very, very important. So having said that, yeah, there are information coming from Finland. Last week, our Prime Minister was in court. Biafra has been in court since, for the past few days now. The reason for our Prime Minister appearing in court, or Biafra being to court, is because the Nigerian government led a claim through their Foreign Affairs Minister, Bianca Ono, through petitions that they wrote to the Finnish government, that the activities of our Prime Minister is criminal and inimical to the lives and property, that is destructive to the people of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, they said that our Prime Minister was inciting violence, that our Prime Minister belongs to a terrorist organization, that is funding terrorism, is supporting a terrorist organization. And when you ask them which terrorist organization are they referring about, they will say it's IPOB. And to tell the world how foolish Nigeria is, there is no country around the world today that regards IPOB a terrorist organization except Nigerian government. Except only in Nigeria that a group that is fighting for their freedom is regarded as a terrorist group or a terrorist organization. So they now leveled all these allegations against our Prime Minister and, bribed Finland in order to hold our Prime Minister and call him for questioning. In this case, Finland was compromised. That is the way Biafrans look at it. That is the way Biafrans see it. Because between 1967 to 1970, the generation of Finnish citizens, of Finnish people who witnessed the war, who witnessed the genocide in Biafran territory, they were so pained. They saw the atrocities of the Nigerian government against the Biafran people, and they wrote about Biafra. They supported Biafra between those years. As a matter of fact, financially, and even their schools were being, children were giving up their lunch, their feeding, in order to help the Biafran children that were starving to death. So during those years, the generation of the Finnish people, they have the same thing in common with Biafra. They felt the pain of the Biafran people. They saw what we saw. They faced what we faced. And they had a soft spot for Biafrans. So within those years, they were fighting with the Biafran people to make sure that the Biafran people were free. But unfortunately, the war ended the way it ended. And even as the war ended, the atrocities that the Finnish people saw between 1967 to 1970 continued to happen in Biafran territory. The killings have always been there. The economic strangulation is always there. The moribund road economy is always there. Lack of infrastructure has always been there. Destructions of people's properties, livelihood has always been there. The kidnappings and killings has always been there. So they should have known that nothing changed. The generation of the Finnish people today should have known that nothing changed in Biafra. So when our Prime Minister, after the kidnapping of our leader, DavidNnannah BTV, took up the mantle of leadership in order to help the Biafran people to fight for their freedom. The Biafran people supported him. As a matter of fact, whatever the Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku was doing, he was doing it because the Biafran people gave him the mandate to do that. He was elected to be the Prime Minister. Okay, so the Biafran people supported him in what he was doing. And there is nothing that our Prime Minister was doing that is hidden. Okay, his broadcast is in the social media. Okay, the fundraising is in the social media. Even his meetings with political players all around the world, the memos, the information that is being sent out to the world, he always brings it to social media. So there was nothing that the finish of this generation would say that our Prime Minister was doing that was hidden, that they will now say is incitement or amounts to terrorism or terrorist acts. So because of the Nigerian government corruptive tendencies, because we know what they can do, Nigeria will stop at nothing to get their way, to get through to their way. They will bribe anybody bribable. They will spend any money that they can get hands off. Because this money that they are spending, large chunk of the resources that they sell to get this money comes from Biafran territory. So they don't care how much they spend in order to bribe nations, in order to bribe corporations or individuals in order to fight against Biafran freedom. So in this case, after they wrote all petitions, after they tried to influence the European Union, American government, British government against Biafra, and all these people saw that Biafran people have the right to fight for their freedom, that the Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa is acting in tandem with the laid down principles or rules as stipulated in the international document of freedom fighting. So these people could not wholeheartedly now go and start, putting Simon Ekpa under, saying that he's declaring him wanted or, calling for his arrest or something like that. No. What the Nigerian government now did was to go through the Finnish government and see who can be bribed and see who can be bought over and see who can be influenced. And eventually, they called our Prime Minister for questioning, and up to this moment, they are still holding him in Finnish custody. Now, when our Prime Minister appeared in their courts, the Nigerian government, who have nothing against our Prime Minister that they can present that will be presentable to the international community, they have to look for a way in order to say that, what the Prime Minister was doing was illegal. What did they do? They now have to go to IPOB Nigeria DOS and their stooges in BRGIE. And everybody will remember that in 2023 or post-2023 or before that time, the IPOB Nigeria have always accused our Prime Minister of being a Nigerian agent. They have also accused him that, a lot of politicians are sponsoring him against Biafran freedom, against Biafran restoration, because IPOB was supposed to be fighting for this freedom. Now, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, who happens to be the leader of the DOS, was now given a mandate. He was now given a mandate to try and raise up gangs of useless individuals who can go to Finland and testify against our Prime Minister. You can also recall that in 2023, DOS or IPOB Nigeria Limited they also organized a protest against our prime minister in the same Finland. So when all these things happen, when all these shenanigans were happening, the Nigerian government were the one who was going to, say they want to prosecute our prime minister. But what they were actually trying to do was to use those who were actually not happy with our prime minister to fight against the Biafran freedom. And all these people that they are using were once fighting for the freedom of Biafra. We are once fighting, okay, supposedly, they were once supposedly fighting for the freedom of Biafra. Because when our leader DavidNnannah BTV was here, most of these people presented themselves as freedom fighters. Now that our leader was not here, now that they sold him, the Nigerian government was able to corner all these people and bought them over. And now we are using them against these present Biafrans under the Biafran Republic government in exile, who are actually fighting for the freedom. So, Nigerian government has no other option than to use the IPOB members and the Ngozi group, because what IPOB members we are doing, or DOS we are doing, is actually what Ngozi Orabueze is now doing at this particular time. So, in other words, Ngozi Orabueze and IPOB Nigeria Limited have merged. They have merged to fight against our freedom. They have merged to fight against Biafran Republic government in exile. But one thing that you should know as a Biafran is that our leader DavidNnannah BTV made us to understand. The reason why we make references to what DavidNnannah BTV said is because all the prophecies of our leader DavidNnannah BTV have always come to pass. All the prophecies. Only Biafra restoration or Biafra freedom that we are on it now, that is remaining. So our leader made us to understand that there is nothing anybody can do to stop the freedom of Biafra. Okay? There is nothing anybody can do to stop the freedom of Biafra. And most of these people who are trying to stop the freedom of Biafra, they are doing so because the Nigerian government have been able to buy them over. They have compromised their position. The position that they were in when our leader was here is different now. Because while our leader was here, they were pretending to be fighting for freedom because our leader was here. But immediately DavidNnannah BTV, our leader, was kidnapped from Kenya, they threw in the towel. Most of them are now building hotels in Nigeria. Most of them are now living large in Nigeria. Most of them are making money because after they sold our leader DavidNnannah BTV, they compromised their position and they were promised a lot of things. They were promised goodies, they were promised positions, they were promised contracts, and they were promised properties. And Nigeria, being what it is, will always use you. As long as you accept to work with Nigeria, they will use you and later they will dump you. So the IPOB Nigeria and USB of Nigeria Limited were in court in Finland. The reason why they went to court in Finland was to testify against our Prime Minister. And the information from the attorney of our Prime Minister, the information was that after their testimony, their testimonies uplifted the spirit of our Prime Minister. In fact, their testimonies, was necessary because it boosted the morale of BRGIE. It boosted the morale of our government. And their testimony was top-notch because it was beneficial in as much as they come to testify against our Prime Minister, their testimony was very, very beneficial to the Prime Minister himself, to our government, and to what we are doing. So it was, they came to fight against Biafra, but eventually they lost the fight. So that is actually what happened. So they accused the Prime Minister of being a Nigerian agent. They accused our Prime Minister of being sponsored by Malami. They accused our Prime Minister, of being sponsored by Umahi. There was no accusation that they never accused our Prime Minister of. And today, they went to finish court to testify against him. But unfortunately for them, their testimony was much beneficial to the Prime Minister than it was to IPOB Nigeria or USB of Nigeria Limited. So my wonderful people and lovers of freedom, I want everybody to understand that the fight for freedom, we have to go through all these processes that you can see our leaders going through. Because freedom is not given. You have to demonstrate that you are fighting for your freedom. And when issues of this case come, you have to show yourself worthy to defend what you stand for. And that is actually what our Prime Minister, that is actually what our government is doing at this particular time. So, Ngozi Orabueze and the Biafra and the members of the DOS are working together to make sure that our Prime Minister did not come out. They are working together with the Nigerian government. They are playing the script that the Nigerian government wrote for them. They will do everything humanly possible in order to make sure that our Prime Minister remains behind bars. But the good news, Biafrans, is that no matter what they do, everything that they are doing against our Prime Minister will turn to favor for us. Everything that they are doing against our government will be for the betterment of our government. So we are asking them to bring it on. These are people who say they are fighting for freedom. These are people who, when our leader was here, they were singing praises of our leader. They were singing praises of our leader. And you ask yourself, how can somebody who is a Biafran, it beats my imagination when I talk about this sometimes, how can you say that you are a Biafran? You are above 30 years of age. You have read the history of Biafran Civil War. You know actually the situation of Biafrans in Nigeria. You know what Biafra land is suffering from in Nigeria. You know the policies of the Nigerian state against Biafran territory. Even when they take loan from China, Biafra land is exonerated. When they want to build mega projects, Biafra land is exonerated. When they have to build train lines, Biafra land is exonerated. You as a Biafran that have witnessed and have seen all these abnormalities, all these injustices that is meted against our people, you have seen it firsthand. You have heard about it. You have read it in the papers. And there are government that is fighting for your freedom. Then you come out to stand against this government that you are fighting, that is fighting for your freedom. You come out against the people that are actually trying to free you from the subjugation, from the harassments and the intimidations and the suffering that you are passing through in Nigeria. Then you come out to stand against it. Something is actually wrong somewhere. Something is actually wrong somewhere. And that is why we begin to examine some of our people. When you go all around the world, Biafrans are suffering in so many countries. In so many countries that we are suffering, most of the resources that all these nations, all these countries are using come from Biafra territory. Yes, most of the resources come from Biafran territory. But yeah, these people are living well. Their citizens, their people, their government are protecting them. Their government are providing for them. Their children are living like, kings and queens in their various countries. But the resources that they are getting to power their economy comes from Biafra land. And you, as a Biafran that is living in such countries, you are doing menial jobs. Some of us are sweeping the streets. Some are washing plates. Some are cleaning toilets. And you know that if Biafra is free today, you will not be washing toilets in America. You know that if Biafra is free today, you will not be a nanny in UK. You know that if Biafra comes today, you will not be sweeping the street in Germany or Japan. Okay? You know that the government of Biafra will put every necessary infrastructure in place to make sure that you will enjoy what all those people are enjoying in their countries. You know all these things. Then why will you now come and stand to fight against these things that the Biafran government is planning for you as a Biafran? It's really beat my imagination. It really surprises us to understand the mindset of some individuals who are actually standing against our freedom. That is why when you look at Ngozi Orabueze and look at people who are working in her cabinet, look at where these people are coming from. Most of them are living in UK. Some are living in America. They are living in civilized world. Then why are they fighting against the government of Biafra? Why are they trying to stop the progress that was made by BRGIE? Why are they trying to destroy the template of our freedom? Why are they working with the Nigerian government against Biafra? Why? Why? I ask. Help me ask, because I don't understand. Does it mean that Nigeria is profitable to them? Does it mean that they like what is happening in Nigeria? Even when there is no day in Nigeria that you don't see killings upon killings upon killings. As a matter of fact, the world knows that Nigeria is an Islamic state. And in an Islamic state, you know that the lives of the citizens is in the hands of the terrorists. Yes, no Islamic nation that have been able to provide, unless all of you are Islams. But in Nigeria, we are not Muslims. We are Christians, predominantly Christians in Nigeria. So why will you now, why will you now impose a religion on the people? And people are being killed every day. Communities are being overrun. Terrorists are taking it over. And all these people, all these Ngozi Orabufulani and DOS members are seeing all this atrocity that is happening. And they know the reason why we are fighting for Biafra is to prevent all these atrocities from happening in Biafra land. Yet, it's these same people that will come and fight against Biafra. Yet, it's these same people that will come and fight against what our government is doing for freedom to come. This is very, very unfortunate. And that is why we must see these people for who they are. And the government of Biafra will make sure that all these people pay for all these their atrocious activities against our people. We cannot fold our hands and watch these people continue to sabotage the freedom of the Biafran people. Our people have died enough. Our leader, DavidNnannah BTV, have been in detention for 5 good years. This June, yes, June 19th, he was kidnapped on June 19th, 2021. This year, on the 19th, we'll make it complete 5 years. that DavidNnannah BTV is in detention, fighting for freedom, fighting for liberation, fighting for recognition of Biafra, fighting for his people to be sovereign, to have the opportunity to govern themselves. Okay? This will make it 5 years. And you as a Biafran, you say you want Biafra, yet you are not supporting the freedom of your people. You are not supporting. What are you waiting for? Look at what is happening in Benue State. Look at what is happening in southern Kaduna. All over Nigeria, there are killings here and there because the Fulanis want to take over Nigeria. They want to overrun Nigeria and convert Nigeria to Islamic State. As a matter of fact, if we allow them to do that, all of you will be Muslims. You will be forced to become a Muslim overnight. And if you don't accept, you just write your will, and they are going to chop off your neck. This is not the life that we want to live. We have never been Muslims. We are Christians, and we are traditionalists. We are also Judaists. We believe in live and let live. That is why we are fighting to be free. That is why we want to have our nation Biafra restored, so that our children can enjoy what American children are enjoying, so that our fathers and mothers, the elderly, will be able to enjoy what the elderly are enjoying in UK, so that our resources can be used for the betterment of the Biafran people. My brothers and my sisters, if you are watching me and you are hearing the sound of my voice, if you have not supported Biafra, try and support Biafra now. There is no better time than Biafra will come down now, because we have discovered the reason why Biafra was not free between 1967 to 1970. As a matter of fact, between 1967 to 70, we don't have the number of people that are living in diaspora. Biafrans, I say, that are living in diaspora now. We don't have that number then. We don't have the Biafran lobbyists. We don't have anybody that was lobbying for the freedom of Biafra, for the recognition of Biafra then. We don't have the awareness that is being created now all over the world about Biafra. We didn't have it then. Biafra was never had never appeared in any international court because of freedom. But this time around, because our leader, our prime minister, and those who are piloting the affairs of this our freedom read wide and was able to discover the reason why we failed between 1967, and they have made that amendment, they have made that correction, and they are now on the path of restoration. They are now on the path of recognition. They understand that there are certain things that need to be done before the world can be able to recognize us as a free nation. And that is what we are doing at this time. We have the military, the Biafran Defense Forces are fighting in our land. They are protecting our women and children. As a result, the reason why people are not being killed in Biafra land the way they are being killed in other areas, other states in Nigeria, is because of the presence of the Biafran Defense Forces. Not that Biafrans are not being killed anyway. Biafrans are being killed by the Nigerian terrorist state, but the killings are minimal. Okay? The killings are not like before. Yes, because of the presence of the Biafran Defense Forces, the killings are minimal. They are minimized. Imagine a scenario where we don't have the Biafran Defense Forces. Imagine a scenario where there is no resistant fighters. Imagine a scenario where there is no DavidNnannah BTV or Simon Ekwanjoko, where there is no government that is speaking for Biafran people. By now, our land would have been overrun. I am telling you, by now, Biafran territory will be filled with IDP camps. Imagine a scenario like that. But because our leaders, they saw this time coming, because they made plans to prevent all these things from happening, that is why our land is protected. That is why the men and women who know what freedom is all about decided to come together and vow to protect our land. And they are doing it very, very well. They are doing it respectfully according to international standard. But we can't continue to fight, we can't continue to be protecting our land from these terrorists that are still in our land. We need to evict all these people from our land so that we prevent them killing or planning attacks in Biafran territory. And that is why you as a Biafra comes in. That is why you as a Biafran comes in. If you want the freedom of your people, if you want the freedom of your children, if you have not supported this restoration or this Biafran government, please, this is the time for you to support. This is the time for you to throw in your weight with the Biafran Republic government in exile. This is the time to demonstrate that all these killings that is happening in our land, that you are not comfortable with it. This is the time to demonstrate that you don't want your community to be overrun by the terrorists. Because if you don't throw in your weight with the government, the little resources that Biafrans are contributing may not be enough to send personnel to your community to protect your people, to protect your women and your children. What our Prime Minister is answering question in Finland is because of Biafra. What our leader DavidNnannah BTV is still doing in Nigerian court is because of Biafra. And Nigerian government will do everything humanly possible to stop Biafra from coming. You as a Biafra, you must do everything possible to make sure that Biafra comes and that you stand your ground with the government that is protecting your land. In this case, Biafra Republic government in exile. This is the government that is speaking for you. It is the government that is speaking for us as Biafrans, and we have to support it. We have to support this government with everything that we have. We have to support it. The Nigerian government will do everything within their reach to stop us from being free. But we must do everything as well to be free from them. So, if you are not supporting, you are doing a very great injustice, a great disservice to your people in the homeland, especially those of you in America, in UK, in Germany, in France, in these civilized nations. You know what it cost. That nation, that country that you are residing, that country that you are working, you know what it cost them to make sure that their country are good and fine the way you met it. You know the sacrifices they paid, you know the prices they paid to make UK, to make America, to make France what it is today. You have to pay such sacrifices to make Biafra what Biafra will be in the nearest future. One of the sacrifices that America made is that they fought Britain. For America to be free, Britain was evicted from America. For India to be free, Britain was evicted from India. For Finland to be free, Russia was also evicted from Finland. So for Biafra to be free, we must evict Nigeria from Biafra land. This is very important. There is no two ways about it. Our land is under occupation. There are military barracks here and there in our land. There are police checkpoints here and there in our land. If these things continue to exist, if all these police stations continue to exist, if all these military checkpoints continue to exist, how are we going to be free, my people? How are we going to be free? And that is why we are calling on you, Biafrans. That is why we are pleading with you, Biafrans, that the Biafran Defense Forces, they are ready to evict all these terrorists from our land. They are very ready to evict them from our land. It is only the resources that are not forthcoming. The donations are there, but it is not enough. The defense forces have limited funds. They want to access every nook and cranny of Biafra land. They want to be able to repel attacks, even prevent attacks from happening in Biafran territory. And we know that before, in defense, it is very, very, capital intensive. Check the budget of America in their defense. America has the highest defense budget, and that is why America is the safest country, or do I say is the number one country in this world, okay, that is safe, protected by their government, because every year they budget millions and billions of dollars for their defense. Check countries that their citizens are safer. You check their budget. Defense is key to the protections of citizens in every country. So in Biafran territory, before Biafran people can be free from Nigeria, we have to beef up our defense system. We have to support the Biafran Defense Forces. They are the ones that can be able to evict these terrorists from our land. We can only be speaking, but the men and women to do the job are in the homeland, and they are ready. They are ever ready. They have said it times without number that it is the resources that they need. Once they have the resources, they are good to go. So the little resources that Biafrans are contributing are just doing a little compared to what they should have done if every one of us is contributing the way we should contribute. Take, for instance, our leader, DavidNnannah BTV, called Biafrans in America, spoke to them and told them that they should fund the liberation or the freedom of our nation, that they have what it takes to fund our freedom. And I agree with DavidNnannah BTV because Biafrans are doing very well in America. All around the world, Biafrans are doing so much well that very few Biafrans can even fund the total freedom from Nigeria. Very few Biafrans. But the problem is that all these people that we are expecting to fund our liberation have aligned with the terrorist Nigerian state. They are not even considering that our land is under occupation. They are not even looking at what the atrocity that the Nigerian government is committing in Biafra land. They are not looking at what the intimidation the military, the police, the nuisance they are constituting in Biafran territory. Because these people are enjoying their lives in America, they forget that their people are under occupation. They forget that their land is under occupation. They forget that their people are being killed by the terrorists. They forgot that the terrorists want to take over their land. That is what we can't understand. You are in America. You know what America is going through in order to protect their citizens. You know the amount of resources that is being invested in the defense of America. And that is why the American citizens are very secure. But yet, you enjoy security in America, but in your homeland, your people are not secure. Your people are being killed at will by the terrorist Nigerian state. The military are intimidating our people in our homeland. The police are harassing Biafrans in various checkpoints. The governors are doing the same, creating militias here and there, using it to intimidate our people, using it for political, political oppression of their opponents. You know all these things, yet you don't want to support the freedom of your nation, Biafra. This is very, very sad. So if only those in America, like our leader said, can come out in their numbers and support our government, Biafra will be free in no distant time. Then you compare it to everybody, those from America, those from Japan, those from France, those from UK, joining hands to fund the Biafran Defense Forces. I'm going to tell you, it will not take long. All these terrorists in our land, all of them will be evicted. But if you as a Biafra, you are sitting on the fence, you don't want to support, you don't want to join hands with our government, but yet you want freedom. How is that freedom going to come if you are not involved? It should be a collective effort. It should be a collective responsibility for you and for me, not for a certain group of people. Biafra is for each and every one of us. Biafra is for everybody. When Biafra comes, nobody is going to be chased out of Biafra land. When Biafra is fully restored, nobody is going to chase you out of Biafran territory. I want you to know that. The only thing that will happen is that all of you, those of you that try to sabotage Biafra, the Lord of Biafra will take its course on you. Those of you that try to betray our government, the Lord of Biafra will take its course on you. So that is the only thing. So you should have that mindset that the freedom that we are fighting for is for everybody. It's for the betterment of everybody, not for DavidNnannah BTV alone. Neither is it for Prime Minister Simon Ekpa Njoku, but for the totality, the collectiveness, or the total responsibility of everybody, and it is for the betterment of everybody. So everybody should now come on board. Everybody should come on board to join hands together so that we can be free as a people. So that we can be free as a people. Because without freedom, Biafra can never stand. But with freedom, Biafra will be a nation to be reckoned with. This is very, very important. So, all hands must be on deck. And our government have even made it more simpler for every one of us. No amount is too big or small for you to contribute on a daily, on a weekly basis. We have our weekly fundraisings every Saturday and Sunday. There are fundraisers every week. In some cases, twice a week. This fundraising is to raise more money to make sure that Biafra land is protected. Okay? To make sure that the terrorists are prevented from taking over our land and our territory. So it is a collective responsibility for every one of us. And in a scenario whereby you as a businessman want to make money for yourself in this Biafran recognition, you have an opportunity as well. There is a project of this special IOU loan where you can loan the government your money, and when Biafra is fully restored, you are going to get 100% interest on the money that you loan the government. And if you want your information to be protected, the government promised that those who don't want to be known Those who don't want their information to be known, they want to remain anonymous, the government will give you that opportunity. Even when you are still in Nigeria, or even when you are working in the Nigerian government establishment, but what the government will not tolerate is you, while you are still in government of Nigeria, you are fighting against your freedom. No. But even if you are working in the government of Nigeria, but you are donating anonymously to our freedom, as long as you don't want to be known, your information will always remain secret. Because what we are fighting is for our freedom. It is for the freedom of your generation, the freedom of your children, even yet unborn. So everybody should key in on it. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Look at what happened in 2023. After the election of Tinubu and Shetima, Biafran properties were being destroyed in Nigeria. And nobody was held responsible, or nobody was held accountable. And no compensation was made to Biafrans who lost their properties. This is as a result that Nigerian government want to destroy whatever Biafrans have. They want to destroy our businesses. They want to destroy our economy. They want to destroy us and annihilate us from Nigeria. So if Biafrans who are in Lagos, in Abuja, who are in Onitsha, who are in Newi, who are in Aba, can bring the little resources that they have to support this freedom, when Biafra is fully restored, all their properties will be protected under Biafra, not in Nigeria. Under Nigeria, under Biafra, your property is protected, but under Nigeria, your property will be protected. So this is the reason why Biafrans, you should now choose, where do you belong to? Do you still prefer one Nigeria, or do you still want a free Biafran nation? This is what we are fighting for. A free Biafran nation where everybody will have an opportunity of living the way Chukwu Okike Abiama designed that we should live, without intimidation, without harassment, without subjugating us into one Nigeria by force. So we have to support our government. We have to support our government. If you have not supported this government, this is the time to support it now. If you have not supporting the Biafran Defense Forces, this is the time to support it now. We are asking for your support because the government is not in control of the Biafran territories or the Biafran resources. Once our government was able to get hold of our natural resources and control it, then I don't think the government will now require you to make any money donation or support to our liberation or to our recognition. But right now that we don't have sponsors, it is the Biafran people that are sponsoring themselves. It is the Biafran people that are sponsoring themselves for this freedom. And that is why it looks a little bit difficult. But then we must have to do what we need to do to be free. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to be free. But the bottom line is that everybody needs freedom. Biafran people needs freedom. And nobody can come and fight for you, except you fight for yourself. In this case, we have our government. The only thing that we need, the government needs from you, is your donation and support to it through the Biafran Defense Forces. Very, very important. Biafran should key into this Biafran liberation so that we will be free once and for all. So I salute everybody who has joined me. James Daike, good morning from here. I thank you for joining me. Comrade, Free Energy Tech Biafra, I see you. Thank you for being here. OCINC, I welcome you. Chinonye Glad, Otutu Amanwa Chineke, I appreciate your presence. Williams, good morning from here as well. Thank you for joining me, Omo Chineke. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Very, very important. Chelo Joshi. Ndewo Chineke. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing? Anybody watching from the homeland? What is happening in the land of our ancestors? Anybody watching from the homeland? I hope our people are sitting at home. I hope our people are respecting the seat at home. And today is our Prime Minister's court. Today is Biafran court in the European Union territory. So our message, our plight, our information will continue to reverberate all around the world. This is our time, and nothing can stop the emergence of Biafra. Forget about what Russia, what Israel and Iran are doing. The same thing happened between 1967 to 1970, while Biafra was under military occupation, under genocide was happening in Biafran territory. Israel was also engaged in its own war. The same thing is happening this time around. And that is why everywhere nobody is speaking about us, although they have not even spoken about us when they were not even fighting. So, and they are not going to speak about us. We are going to force them to speak about us. We are going to force the world to speak about us. So, and the only way they can speak about us, it is by the actions and activities that the Biafran Defense Forces have taken against the terrorists in our land. That is the only way they will be forced to speak about us. And the Biafran Defense Forces cannot speak with the little donations that are coming to their coffers. No. If we make massive donation to the Biafran Defense Forces, Obinze will fall the next day. If you make donation to the Biafran Defense Forces, all these checkpoints that you see here and there, all these military barracks, all these police stations will be going down in flames every blessed day. The reason why they are still standing there is because we don't have enough resources. The Biafran Defense Forces don't have enough resources to engage these terrorists in our land. And that is why it is very, very painful that Biafrans have money. We have people who have money, who have resources to be able to support our government, but they are not doing so. They are not doing so. I don't know their reason for not doing so. Even when we ask them to give us loan, that loan can attract 100% interest rate to them. Yet, they are not listening. Yet, they are not doing what they're supposed to do. Maybe because of the benefit that they are benefiting from the Nigerian state. That is why they are ignoring the killings, the call for support for the liberation and the freedom of their people. Very, very important that our people should wake up and pick the bull, pull the bull by the horn. Take up this challenge. Let us fight and be free once and for all. Once we are free, you will see that all these people that never cared about us, all these people that never spoke about us, all these people that don't even want us to exist, once we are free, you will see them coming to Biafra land to seek for asylum. You will see them coming to Biafra land, to try to get our Biafran citizenship, or to try to have some one relation, international relation or the other with the Biafran people. But now that we are asking them to look our ways and see the atrocity that the Nigerian government is committing against our people, they are feigning ignorance. So Biafrans, please, don't expect anybody to come and start begging you to fight for your freedom. Don't expect Biafrans to come and start begging you for your freedom, because the freedom is for everybody. It's not only for David. It's not only for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Neither is it only for our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpanjoko. It is for the Biafran nation. So support your freedom. Support the freedom of your people so that Nigeria will cease to exist in Biafran territory. So thank you so much. And another thing I want us to talk about is, you see, the earlier we stop listening to gossip on social media, the better for us. A lot of people have been contracted to speak against Biafra. A lot of people have been contracted to speak against our acting Prime Minister. A lot of people have been contracted to speak against our government, BRGIE. Don't listen to them. The Biafran Republic government in Eza have a media platform. Anything you did not hear from the media platform or media handle of the Biafran Republic government in Eza does not exist. Most of the people who are speaking on social media are content creators. They are making money for themselves, and the only way they can make more money is to try to fight against our government, to speak against our government. By so doing, they are creating content to their various pages. Okay? So don't listen to all these individuals who are telling you that, oh, Ogechukwu Nkere is this, Ogechukwu Nkere is that. Our government is not doing it well. The Biafran Defense Forces are not doing anything. That the donation that is being donated is not going to the Biafran Defense Forces. All these things are propaganda that the Nigerian government want them to create on the social media so that they can use it to, discourage people from supporting or donating for our freedom. So when you see all these people, ignore them. They will only last for a while because it is only truth that stands the test of time. They will just whistle away, they will just fade away, just like DOS. DOS fell away after they sold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They started their propaganda. Oh, Simon this, Simon that, Simon this, Simon that, experiment this, experiment that. It didn't take long. Do you hear any of them again? They have fizzled out. The same thing will happen to Ngozi Orabueze and her group. They have already started fizzling out because they thought that we have come here to play. They thought that we are here to joke. We are no longer joking. We have passed a stage whereby we are going to tolerate sabotage. No. A lot of people have died at the cost of this freedom. A lot of families have lost their loved ones. A lot of children lost their fathers and mothers because of this freedom. So anybody coming to, to try to, whittle down on what the Biafran government is doing, or try to bring propaganda, or try to discourage people from supporting the government, that person is an enemy of Biafra. Yes, that person is an enemy of Biafra and must be dealt with. So don't ignore any information, any propaganda that all these people are sending out on social media. Our government is very, very intact. Ogechukwu Nkere is working assiduously for the recognition of Biafra with our lobbies and our attorney. They are doing a very wonderful job and they must be commended and supported. Freedom fighting is capital intensive. Even as Israel and Iran are independent countries, they are still asking for support from America and the world in order for them to fight this war that they are fighting. So you can imagine Nigeria is a sovereign state, it's an independent state. But Biafra, we are fighting for our independence or our sovereignty. And we need finance. We need money in order to buy arms and ammunition. We need money in order that our men and women will be equipped to defend our land. We we need your donation. That is why we are asking for your donation. You are not giving anybody money. We have a channel whereby any money, any donation that you make goes straight to the Biafran Defense Forces coffers. It doesn't go to individual purse. That is why our own is different. That is the reason why you should know that this generation of Biafrans are actually here to restore Biafra. Not those who were here with DavidNnannah BTV. They were taking money, they were making themselves richer. Biafrans will donate money and they will use it to send container to Nigeria. They will use it to buy goods from China, go and sell and make profit out of it. But this time around, we donate strictly, directly to the website for our recognition, for the Biafran Defense Forces to do their job. And that is why the government of Biafra, the BDF, are making giant strides. They have achieving a lot within this shortest possible time. So your donation will go a long way. We go a very long way in helping to protect our land and our territory. So if you donate, you are helping to protect your land. But if you don't donate, it means you don't want your land to be protected. It means that you want IDP camp in Biafran territory. It means that you want your women and children killed. So bikono, Omo Biafra, Kaitetanora, we have this responsibility, we have this task, and we have to make sure that our land is protected. Very, very important. So I thank every one of you that joined in. One name, I thank you for joining me. You be Fidelis. I see you. Thank you so much. Chloe Yashi, I appreciate your presence as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Williams, I see you. Thank you, Mwachineke. So Biafrans, we have another court update coming up later today. And always go to the handle of the Information Department of Biafran Republic Government in Exile. Very, very important. Always check the handle of Mazi Soni Akbarawa, or check my handle, because anything he shares, we are going to share it to the Biafran people, because our people need to know what is happening. Okay? Our people need to know what is happening in this restoration. We are not going to stop. Nothing can deter us. Nothing can prevent us from getting our freedom at this time. Nothing can stop us. So everybody must make sure that we join in this fight, because it is a fight for finish. A fight against Nigeria. We must do everything humanly possible to destroy Nigeria. Otherwise, Nigeria will destroy us. Otherwise, Nigeria will destroy us. Nigeria was never designed to benefit anybody. Nigeria was never designed to benefit you. Neither was it designed to benefit me. Rather, Nigeria was designed to destroy Biafra. But this time, Nigeria can never succeed, because the crop of Biafran that we have today are ready to go at any length to make sure that Biafra is restored. We are taking Nigeria head on with their supporters, with those who they are, bankrolling to destroy our freedom. We are making sure that all these people, we are going to hold them accountable for all the atrocity that they are committing in our land. So if you make yourself available to be used for Nigeria, we are going to fight you and make sure that we bring you down until Biafra is restored. Very, very important. So don't play with this crop of Biafrans that are here. We are not going to take any no for an answer. The time for our freedom is now, and nobody will stop it. Nothing will prevent Biafra from being free. Very, very important. So thank you so much for joining me. Always be at alert, so that Any update that comes in, you are going to share from it. Very, very important. So I want to use this opportunity to appreciate our leader, DavidNnannah BTV. Have demonstrated that yes, he was actually born for our freedom, because that is what he said. He said that the reason why he came to this life is for freedom of the Biafran people. And he had demonstrated that. This year will make it 5 years that he's been in detention because of Biafra. And Chukwu Okike Abiama will eventually give him victory. I also appreciate our Prime Minister, who also is part of this recognition and restoration project for what he's doing in the European Court because of Biafra. We appreciate him as well. Our acting Prime Minister, Ogechukwu Nkere, a man who does much but speaks less. We also appreciate him for what he's doing, especially going to Washington, D.C., speaking to American, congressmen and women, those that matters most in the world politics, making them understand the position of Biafran people and the sufferings that we are undergoing in Nigeria. I appreciate our acting Prime Minister, Ogechukwu Nkere. I want to thank our Biafran Defense Forces, led by General Igwe Butuza, for the defense of motherland, for the protection of our women and children. We appreciate them. Thank you so much. And I want to appreciate the Biafran Republic Government in exile cabinet members for all their commitments, every day in, day out, their plannings, their discussions, all the things that they are doing for Biafra to come, holding the ground for our Prime Minister and DavidNnannah BTV. I appreciate every one of them, and I pray that Chukwu Okike Abiama will continue to guide and protect them and direct them aright. And lastly, I want to appreciate every one of you that is supporting our government. Without your support, the government wouldn't get this far. And those of you who have not supported, please, the time to join is now. Because this time, Biafra will be restored. And you will regret if you didn't join before Biafra is fully restored. So that your name will come out among those who supported and fought for the freedom of their people. Thank you for your support. Continue to do more. Those in America, those of you in America, those of Biafrans in America, remember the prophecy, remember what DavidNnannah BTV said. He said that those of you in America will fund the freedom of Biafra. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? If you have not supported, if you have not joined, this is the time to join, because you were destined, you were chosen to fight for freedom. That is why God put you in that position that you are making money in America. Use it to support your freedom, so that the land of Biafra will always bear you witness and protect you and protect your generation. So thank you so much for joining me. I will be signing out from here until when I come next your way. Remain blessed and make sure that you support this freedom, because this time around, no more mistakes. No more mistakes, because all the lines, all the T's have been crossed, and all the lines have been dotted, and every stone that needs to be turned must be turned, and Biafra will eventually come. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe for my YouTube channel. If you have not liked, please like, comment, share as well, so that this information or this message will still go to individuals or to persons who have not heard this message. And maybe, who knows, they may change after hearing from me. Thank you so much, Umo Chineke, and see you next time. Bye from here. I remain your brother, Mazi DavidNnannah, signing out from my location here in Mozambique. Ndewonu.